Today I am going to explain you the story of The Two Gentlemen of Verona from Literature Reader of 10th CBSE. The author of the story is A.J. Cronin, and we'll see the storylines. As we drove through the foothills of the Alps, two small boys stopped us on the outskirts of Verona. Here A.J. Cronin is the author who is narrating us the story. Who is narrating the story? A.J. Cronin. So he says, as they drove, means he is traveling to a place. When he is traveling on the foothills of the Alps, two small boys, they stopped them in a place named Verona, and this Verona place is in Italy. Verona is in Italy. They were selling wild strawberries. The two boys, why they have stopped the author, as they are selling wild strawberries. They stopped the author and they requested the author to buy their fruits. Immediately, don't buy, warned Luigi. So, immediately a person named Luigi warned the author not to buy the wild strawberries. Our cautious driver. Luigi is the driver of the author. Luigi is the driver of the author. You will get fruit much better in Verona besides these boys. So Luigi suggested the author not to buy the wild strawberries of these two boys and suggested the author, telling that they will get better strawberries in the city. He shrugged his shoulders to convey his disapproval of their shabby appearance. Why this driver Luigi advised the author not to buy the wild strawberries? Seeing the appearance of the two boys, as the two boys' appearance is not good, he advised the author not to buy the wild strawberries. One boy had on a worn jersey and cut-off khaki pants. The other a shortened army tunic gathered in loose folds about his skinny frame. Here the author is explaining about the dressing style and the appearance of the two boys. Gazing at the two little figures with their brown skins, tangled hair and dark earnest eyes, we felt ourselves strangely attracted. Looking at the eyes and the appearance of the boys, unknowingly the author felt attracted towards the two boys. My companion spoke to the boys. So companion, who is the companion here? The driver who is driving the author. So he spoke to the two boys and discovered that they were brothers. The two boys were brothers here. Their names are Nicola, and the elder was 13, and Jacopo, who barely came up to the door handle of the car, was nearly 12. We bought their biggest basket, then set off towards town. Finally, as they got attracted towards the boys, they purchased the basket, the fruit basket from the boys, and they again started towards the town. Next morning, coming out of a hotel, we saw our friends bent over shoe shine boxes beside the fountain in the public square, doing a brisk business. So finally, the author and the driver reached the town. That day is over. The next day morning, when the author came out into the street and saw these two boys working very seriously, polishing the shoes of the people. We watched for a few moments, then as trays slackened, we went over. They greeted us with friendly faces. For some time, they were standing there and observing the boys. So the author and the driver stood there itself and observed the boys for some time. And when the work reduced, means the busyness when it got reduced, they went near the boys. The boys wished them. I thought you picked fruit for a living, I said. The author told the boys because previously when the author saw the boys, they were selling the fruits. So the author thought that their business is selling fruits. But now the author observed the boys polishing the shoes. So he expressed his astonishment, telling that I thought you have picked up fruit selling for your livelihood. We do many things, sir, Nicola answered seriously. He glanced at us hopefully. Often we show visitors through the town to Juliet's tomb and other places of interest. Then the boy revealed to the author, telling that not only these two, sir, we do many other things in our life, just like taking the people to visit different places of Verona, like Juliet's tomb. Alright, I smiled. You take us along. So, when the author listened to the boys telling that they will take the people around the places, so he asked the boys to take them also. As we made the rounds, my interest was again provoked by their remarkable demeanor. So, here you have to know the meaning of a word, demeanor. So, demeanor means appearance and behavior. Appearance and so as those people moved around the town, the author got impressed with the demeanor, means the appearance and the behavior of the boys. They were childish enough and in many ways quite artless. So those two are small boys, they are childish enough and at the same time they are artless. Artless means innocent. The boys are not only childish, they are also innocent. Jacopo was lively as a squirrel. Nicola's smile was steady and engaging. Yet in both these boyish faces, there was a seriousness which was far beyond their years. So, to look at them, they are childish, they are innocent. But the author has studied a sort of seriousness behind their faces, which is hiding behind them. In the week which followed, we saw them frequently, for they proved extremely useful to us. So, in the following week, the author stayed there itself in the same place for so many days. So, in the next days, the author observed, means the author has come across the boys number of times. If we wanted a pack of American cigars or seats for the opera or the name of a good restaurant, Nicola and Jacopo could be relied upon to satisfy our needs. The author, whatever, because he is a new person who came here to visit the places, he is not familiar with all the places in that town. So whenever he want anything or he wanted to know about any place, as these two boys were staying in the same place, they supported the author. They used to give the information to the author, whichever is needed to the author. What struck one most was their willingness to work. The author got very much impressed because with these two boys, the only reason for that attractiveness is the willingness of the boys to work. Whenever they were assigned with any work, they will come forward to work. So, they are willing to work. During these summer days, under the hot sun, they shined shoes, sold fruit, hawked newspapers, conducted tourists round the town and ran errands. So, they are, even though it is very hot summer, the two boys were doing different types of works, just like shining the shoes, selling the fruits, roaming in the town along with the tourists, and they also ran for errands. Errands means a short journey undertaking to take the things from one place to another place. So, these are the different works which the boys used to do. One night we came upon them in the windy and deserted square, resting on the stone pavement beneath the lights. One day when the author is roaming on the roads, late night, he observed the two boys resting there on a pavement. Nicholas sat upright, tied. A bundle of unsold newspapers lay at his feet. Jacopo, his head resting upon his brother's shoulder, was asleep. It was nearly midnight. So, it is almost the midnight. The two boys were resting on a pavement with a bundle of unsold newspapers. And the author, while moving on the road, he observed these two boys. "Why are you out so late, Nicola?" "Waiting for the last bus from Padua. We shall sell all our newspapers when it comes in." Immediately seeing the boys, the author questioned them. What are they doing there on the pavement late night? So for the question asked by the author, Nicola gave a reply that they are waiting for the last bus which is going to come from Padua, and they wanted to sell that unsold newspapers what are lying with them. "Must you work so hard? You both look rather tired." So listening to that, author felt bad and he questioned them. "Is it that needed for you to work this hard? Already you are looking so tired." "We are not complaining, sir." Immediately the boys replied to the author, telling that they are not complaining. They are just telling what the work they have and why are they sitting on the pavement at that time. "But next morning, when I went over to the fountain to have my shoes shined, I said, 'Nicola, the way you and Jacopo work, you must earn quite a bit. You spend nothing on clothes. You eat little enough. When I see you have a meal, it's usually black bread and figs. Tell me, what do you do with your money?" Next day morning, when the author went near the fountain, he observed the two boys and questioned them, as they are doing number of works and they are not spending anything what they are earning. So he questioned them, because whenever he observed them, they are not spending the money for their clothing or not even on their food. They are eating very little. They are taking only the bread and few figs. "So tell me, what do you do with your money?" So the author questioned the boys what they were doing with the money, what all they are earning. As they are doing so many works, they may be having a good income and they are not spending on their basic needs like buying the clothes or their food. So he got a doubt. The author got a doubt and questioned the boys on what are they spending the money and what are they doing with the money. He colored deeply under his sunburn, then grew pale. He looked to the ground. So when he questioned the boys like that, their face became pale. They did not speak anything. They just bent their head and they were looking at the ground. "You must be saving up to emigrate to America," I suggested. He looked at me and sideways spoke with an effort. So finally, as the boys are not giving any reply, the author said maybe they are saving all the money what are they earning just to emigrate to America. Here we'll see the meaning of the word emigrate. So emigrate is a word which the author used here, and it means moving to another country, to settle down there itself, moving from the own country to foreign country to settle down there permanently. I suggested. He looked at me sideways, spoke with an effort. So listening to that, the boys were looking sideways and finally they spoke to him. "We should greatly like to go to the States, but there at present we have other plans." Finally, the boys gave a reply. They told, "Of course we like to go to other countries, but now at present we have other plans." This clearly reveals that there is a particular purpose, particular reason behind the works the boys are doing. What plans? Immediately the author also questioned the boys what all the plans they have. He smiled uncomfortably. "Just plans, sir," he answered in a low voice. So immediately the author is very eager, enthusiastic to know about the plans of the boys. He questioned what all the plans they have. They said they did not reveal actually about the plans what they have. They just simply said just plans, sir, that's all, and their voice is also very low. Well, I said, we are leaving on Monday. Is there anything I can do for you before we go? Finally, the man told, so I am going to leave this place on Monday, and he wanted to help the boys as they are very hardworking. He wanted to help them in one or the other ways. So, the author questioned the boys or asked the boys whether he can be useful to them in one or the another ways. Nicola shook his head. But suddenly Jacopo said, sir, he burst out, every Sunday we make a visit to the country to Poleta, 30 kilometers from here. Usually we hire bicycles, but tomorrow, since you're so kind, you might send us in your car. So, immediately after listening to the author, Nicola, he shook his head. He said, no, we don't need any help. But Jacopo, he came out, he bursted to the author telling that every Sunday they will visit a place named Poleta, which is 30 kilometers away from the place where they stay. So regularly whenever they go, they used to hire the bicycles, but this time, as the author is so kind, this boy requested the author to drop them in his car. I had already told Logie he might have the Sunday off. However, I answered, I will drive you myself. Logie is the driver of the author. But as the author doesn't know that these boys request them to take them to another place, this author gave leave to Logie as it is Sunday. So, the author mentioning this to the boys, he said, okay, I will drive you to the place where you want me to take. There was a pause. Nicola was glaring at his young brother in vexation. We could not think of troubling you, sir. Actually, Nicola is anti to this because he doesn't want to trouble the author. So, he is looking a bit in a serious way towards his brother, because as the driver is on leave, the author need to drive them by his own. So, with a vexation, he is looking seriously towards his brother. It won't be any trouble. When Nicola mentioned that they are troubling the author, immediately the author denied it. He said there is no trouble for him. He bit his lip, then in a rather put out tone, he said, very well. So here there is a phrase put out, which is the meaning of the phrase put out is annoyed. Nicola initially, even though he did not accept, finally he accepted the proposal of the author. The following afternoon, we drove to the tiny village set high upon the hillside. I imagined that our destinations would be some humble dwellings, but directed by Jacopo, we drew up at a large red-roofed villa surrounded by a high stone wall. I could scarcely believe my eyes, and before I could recover breath, my two passengers had leaped from the car. So, they are thinking, the author is thinking that they are going to a humble dwelling place, but they reached, according to the instruction given by Jacopo to the author, they drew up to a large red-roofed villa, and this villa is surrounded by high stone wall. So finally, immediately after reaching the place, the two boys, they leaped from the car. Here, leaped. So both the boys, they leaped from the car immediately. Leaped means move quickly. Move quickly and suddenly. Move quickly and suddenly. So this reveals that something which is very interesting to the boys, is there in that place. So immediately after reaching the place, they leaped out of the car and they moved from there. We shall not be long, sir, perhaps only an hour. Maybe you would like to go to the cave in the village for a drink. They disappeared beyond the corner of the wall. After coming out of the car, the boys told the author that they don't take much time. They will be back just within 1 hour. And telling like this, they also advised the author to go to a cave in the village to have a drink. Telling like this, they moved towards a corner of a wall. After a few minutes, I followed. I found a grilled side entrance and determinedly rang the bell. So after the boys left from the place, the author was standing there for some time. After some time, he followed. He went near a grilled side entrance and rang the bell. A pleasant looking woman with steel rimmed spectacles appeared. I blinked as I saw that she was dressed in the white uniform of a trained nurse. So they reached a very big villa, and the author, he doesn't know what is that actually. The boys came out and they went inside. After some time, the author wanted to know, as he is very much impressed by the boys, he wanted to know more about the boys. That's why he went near the entrance and he rang the bell, and he was surprised to see a pleasant looking woman with steel rimmed spectacles appeared there, and this woman is dressed in white and she is none other than a nurse. I just brought 2 small boys here. Seeing the nurse, the author told her that he brought 2 boys over there. Yes. Her face lit up. She opened the door to admit me, Nicola and Jacopo. I will take you up. So immediately when the author told the nurse that he brought 2 boys there, the nurse told the names of the boys and started directing the author to the boys. She led me through a cool tiled vestibule. So here the word vestibule, it means lobby. So she was taking the author into a lobby, into the hospital, and this lobby is there in a hospital. So finally the place where the boys and the author have come, it's a hospital, and the author was talking to the nurse now. For hospital, the villa had become, so this villa was converted into a hospital. At the door of a little cubicle, the nurse paused, but her finger to her lips, and with a smile bade me look through the glass partition. So when they were walking in the lobby, when they reached a partition near a glass, immediately the sister stopped and asked the author to be silent, putting her finger on the lips. The 2 boys were seated at the beside of a girl of about 20 who, propped up on pillows, wearing a pretty lace jacket, was listening to their chatter, her eyes soft and tender. One could see at a glance her resemblance to her brothers. A vase of wild flowers stood on her table beside a dish of fruit and several books. After reaching there, the author saw the scene where one girl is popped up, keeping a pillow behind her, sitting on a bed, and the 2 boys were sitting near the girl and chatting with her. So there is a vase on the table, and a bowl of fruits are also there in that room, and several books he observed there in the room. Won't you go in? The nurse murmured. Lucia will be pleased to see you. See here, one more character is introduced, Lucia. Lucia is none other than the sister of these 2 boys, and the boys have come over there to see Lucia, who got admitted in the hospital. So see, after seeing the scene in the room, the sister murmured to the author. Murmuring means telling very slowly so that their voice won't disturb those boys. So sister asked the author to get into the room. So that the sister also advised the person, telling that Lucia will feel happy seeing the author. I shook my head and turned away. So the author is not willing to enter the room because he doesn't want to become an interruption in the conversation of the boys and the girl. So he said, he shook his head and he turned away. He did not enter into the room. I felt I could not bear to intrude upon this happy family party, and he told to the nurse, telling that he doesn't want to become an interruption in a family party. But at the foot of the staircase, I drew up and begged her to tell me all she knew about these boys. So he doesn't want to disturb those boys in the conversation, but his eagerness, his enthusiasm got increased after seeing the scene. He wanted to know more about the boys. So he questioned the nurse, he requested the nurse to explain him about the boys. She was eager to do so. Immediately when the author asked the sister to tell him about the boys, she is so eager to tell. They were, she explained, quite alone in the world, except for this sister Lucia. Their father, a widower, a well-known singer, had been killed in the early part of the war. Shortly afterward, a bomb had destroyed their home and thrown the 3 children into the streets. They had always known a comfortable and cultured life. Lucia had herself been training as a singer, and they had suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. So now, after the author asked the sister to tell about the 2 boys, the sister started narrating the past of the 2 boys. Initially, she started explaining, telling that they are alone, all alone in this world except their sister Lucia. And the father of the boys is a widower. Widower means we can easily understand that mother is already dead. The boy's mother is already dead and the father is alone, who is taking care of these 3 children. And his father is a well-known singer, and unfortunately he was killed in the early part of the war. A war is going on, and in the early part of the war, even the father of these boys is also killed. Shortly afterwards, a bomb had destroyed their home and thrown the 3 children into the street. Another unfortunate thing, after the death of their father, the one bomb destroyed their house and the 3 children were thrown into the streets. They had always known a comfortable and cultured life. Previously, when their father is there, they were leading a comfortable and cultured life. Lucia had herself been training as a singer. Along with her father, Lucia is also trained as a good singer. And they had suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. So after they lost their house, they suffered with starvation. Starvation is a very horrible condition for children. So starvation is a state where there won't be any food. So finally, when they lost their father, they lost their house, and they suffered with horrible starvation in a cold winter. They don't even have their house to live. For months they had barely kept themselves alive in a sort of shelter they built with their own hands amidst the rubble. So here, for months, these students, these boys, for months, as they don't have their house, these 2 boys, they have constructed their own small place where they can live, and this place they constructed in the amidst. Amidst means in the middle of rubble. Rubble means the big rocks, collapsed buildings. In that area itself, they lived for few months. Then for 3 years the Germans ruled the city. The boys grew to hate the Germans. For continuously after this incident, 3 years Germans ruled Italy. And these boys, they developed a sort of agony against the Germans. When the resistance movement began scarcely to form, they were among the first to join. When again after 3 years again the hesitation started, the people of Italy started revolting against German. When such revolution started, these boys were first to join the revolution. When the war was over and we had peace at last, they came back to their beloved sister. Finally, they took part in the revolution. The war is over and everything peace prevailed. So finally, they came back to their house near their sister. And they found her suffering from tuberculosis. What happened when they came back? The sister, she is suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. What is tuberculosis? So tuberculosis, it is an infectious bacteria disease characterized by the growth of tumors in the tissues. So tuberculosis, it is a disease which got affected by the bacteria characterized by the growth of tumor cells in the tissues. She paused and took a quick breath. So after telling this, the nurse even, she felt bad, she paused, she stopped saying and she took a quick breath. So immediately the author questioned, did they give up? The author questioned the nurse, asking whether the boys give up because the condition is very bad, very worse. The boys lost their father, they lost their house, and after participating in a big war, after taking part in a big war, they got success and they came back with peace and identified that the sister is suffering from tuberculosis. I do not have to answer that question. Immediately the nurse said, there is no need to answer that question. They brought her here, induced us to take her into the hospital. Immediately the boys, they did not give up even then. They still started fighting. They brought her to the hospital and persuaded the nurse, means the people of the hospital, to admit her. In the 12 months she has been our patient, she has made good progress. In the 12 months means the Lucia got admitted in the hospital 12 months back. In this 12 months, she got progress in her health. There is very hope that one day she will walk and sing again. So after seeing the progress in the health of Lucia, the nurse is confidently telling that a day will come when again she starts walking and singing. Of course, everything is so difficult now. Food so scarce, and dear, we could not keep going unless we charge a fee. The nurse also mentioned, so nowadays there is increase in the price like anything. Food became scarce and the prices got hike. So they have to charge the patients, otherwise it is not possible for them to run the hospital. But every week Lucia's brothers have made their payment, she added simply. So even though they are charging money from those two boys, they every week without any delay they make their payment. She added simply. I don't know what they do. I do not ask. Work is scarce in Verona. But whatever it is, I know they do it well. So she added. She says that she doesn't know what the boys do because the work there in Verona is scarce. What they do, they don't know. But every week, without any delay, they pay the hospital bills. Yes, I agreed. They couldn't do it better. So the author knew very well. The sister maybe, she doesn't know what the boys are doing and how are they earning the money. But the author, he knew it very well. So he said they couldn't do it better. Means what all the effort they can put, they are putting. They can't do better than this. I waited outside until the boys rejoined me. then drove them back to the city. They sat beside me, not speaking. For my part, I did not say a word. I knew they would prefer to feel that they had safely kept their secret. Yet their devotion had touched me deeply. War had not broken their spirit. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life, gave promise of a greater hope for human society. After some time, after talking to the nurse, the author went back to his car. The boys came back. They sat quietly in the car. They did not speak anything, and even the author also did not reveal the secret what he knew about the boys to them. So the author let that to be a secret. As the boys tried to keep it as a secret, even the author also remained calm. I knew they would prefer to feel that they had safely kept their secret. The author understood that the boys were trying to keep it as a secret. That's why the author also did not reveal anything. He also did not talk to the boys anything. And their devotion had touched me deeply, but the author got impressed very much because they are very small boys. Even though they are very young, they are so responsible. So their devotion touched the author very deeply. War had not broken their spirit. They were the boys, even they took part in the war, they were not disturbed. Their spirit was not broken by the war. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life. The action, the work they do brought a new look to the human life. Gave promise to a greater hope for human society. So the way they behave, the way they are helping their sister, the way they took part in the war and all, and the spirit shown by the boys brings a great hope for human society. About the author. The author of the story Two Gentlemen of Verona is A.J. Cronin. 1896 and 1974. He was a doctor by training. Basically, the narrator, the author of the story, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, he is a doctor. He practiced medicine in Wales and in London. It was while recovering from a breakdown in health that he wrote his first novel, Hatter's Castle. So this doctor, he met with a breakdown, and when he was recovering from his health, he wrote his first novel, Hatter's Castle. It was a huge success. The first novel itself brought reputation to the author A.J. Cronin. The first novel, it is a huge success. Cronin gave up practicing medicine and took to writing as a career. So as the first novel is a great success, he left his medical practice and he took writing as his career. He wrote a number of novels and short stories. Starting with the first success, he never turned back. He wrote number of novels and short stories. Among his best known novels are The Citadel, The Key of the Kingdom, and The Spanish Gardener. Some of his novels have been made into successful films. The title of the story is that of one of the early plays of Shakespeare. The story recounts the hard life chosen by two young boys so that they could pay for the treatment of their sister afflicted with tuberculosis. The boys sacrifice their sincerity and devotion to the cause, and maturity they display in their actions gives a new hope for humanity. So this is the story which is taken from the plays of Shakespeare. And here in the story we see the two boys who work very hard for earning the money for the treatment of their sister who is suffering from tuberculosis. So in this story we can see the sacrifices of the boys, their sincerity and devotion to the cause, and the maturity levels of the boys they display in their actions gives a new hope to the humanity.